Hello, friends, and welcome back to English with Vlad podcast. My name is Vlad, and today we are going to talk about the power of being curious when it comes to learning grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. You see, specifically, we are going to talk about finding and answering those little questions that pop up in your head as you continue learning English. With my students, we like to call these little questions little cockroaches. So here's the core idea I want to share with you today, and I want you to remember your hesitation, your lack of knowledge about something is actually your guiding principle when you learn English. If you hesitate about something, about the pronunciation of the word, if you are not sure about some grammar rule, this is a clear sign for you to exercise your curiosity. That's a sign that you need to dig deeper and find the answer, okay? It's a sign for you to stop and do the important work of looking it up, finding the answer, asking your teacher or mentor, maybe even Googling it, or even asking AI to answer that question for you, all right? Now, I want to give you 3 examples of these things, these kind of questions popping up in the heads of my students, okay? So, these are real examples from my lessons. Students constantly miss out on progress by ignoring these little questions that they have. So, you shouldn't do that. Whenever you have a question, what about that word? What's the meaning of that word? Or how should I say that word correctly? Okay, that's a perfect moment for you to check it, to close that gap and to, as I say, squash that little cockroach. Okay? So, many students feel a bit of hesitation, but they don't answer those questions. They say, it's all right. I don't know it, I don't know something, I'm not sure, but that's okay. So they don't find the answers, they don't resolve these questions, and that is exactly why they don't make as much progress as they could. So I never let my students, let it go and say, okay, it doesn't matter. No, everything matters, okay? You have a question about something, you are not sure about something, this is your chance to get better, okay? Let's look at these examples from my lessons, and these examples are from different areas. Let's start with grammar. I had a recent lesson, a recent example with my student Artem. He's a dentist. During our lesson, he hesitated because he wasn't sure about the correct forms and meaning of a specific set of words related to his job. Instead of ignoring it, we stopped, we looked at these examples, and we found out the meanings and the spelling of each form of these words. For example, the noun was swelling, the adjective was swollen, and the 3 forms of the irregular verb are swell, swelled, swollen, okay? By using his hesitation as a sign of something important, a sign of lack of knowledge. He didn't know the correct forms, or he didn't know this list like fully, right? So he knew approximately that it's something like swelling, but where it comes from, what are the verb forms, what is the adjective form, he didn't know that exactly. So by tackling that little problem, little question, and answering it, he was able to immediately strengthen his medical vocabulary and make more progress. You see, this happens with pronunciation and spelling too. My student Irene had another interesting case, and let me share that with you. So she wanted to use the word batch, like a batch of products, for example, yeah? But instead, she said bench. She was confused about how to say that word correctly. And honestly, it's a very common thing. When we learn a lot of words, we may vaguely remember the meaning or the pronunciation of that word, but the memory is just not strong enough, yeah? And we have that word, we kind of know it, but we are not 100% sure. It happens commonly among my students. But as a result of following this hesitation, and answering that question, Irene now clearly understands that batch, branch, and bench are completely different words and they have completely different meanings, yeah? By bringing them together and looking at them side by side, batch, branch, and bench, now she stopped confusing them and mixing them up all together, okay? And let me give you a final example. This one comes from the internet. I have an account on Threads and I often post things related to English. And I also leave comments under certain posts just to attract people's attention to my account, Recently, I left a beautiful comment under a post about dumplings, and it went viral. It received many thousands of views, but basically, I left a short vocabulary list of related words, and one of the words was the word mince. Mince, yeah? Well, a lot of people jumped in and tried to prove me that mince is not used in English and that I was wrong. But you see, if they had followed our learning method by Googling things, looking it up, or even asking AI, they would understand that they weren't wrong and I wasn't wrong either. Meat, yeah, like pork, beef, that is used in dumplings can be called minced meat or mince, mostly in the UK, and it can be called ground meat or ground beef, pork, chicken in the US. So both words are okay, but you see how by following hesitation as a sign of lack of knowledge and by looking it up, answering those questions, and doing that necessary work, you can make much more progress in your English learning, okay? And not only that, these little cockroaches, as we call them, yeah, as I called them earlier, they are also incredibly important for your confidence. The more of such little cockroaches you squash, the more confident you become in your English level, right? I think it's kind of logical, because imagine if you start neglecting all of these little questions that pop up in your head, yeah? All of these little unresolved things, yeah? You will make much less progress if you do that. But if you keep resolving these little hesitations, conflicts, questions that you have, it doesn't matter what they are. Either it's pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, doesn't matter. If you start resolving them, and if you do this every day, and you resolve one little question every single day, I promise you, you will not recognize yourself in 100 days. It's like becoming 1% better every day. And you know also what? These are your own unique questions, unique moments of hesitations, yeah? You are not just taking a list of words and going through them and learning something that is foreign to you. No, you are answering your own little pain points, yeah? You squash your own little cockroaches, yeah? And of course, remember that you don't have to squash these bugs all by yourself. If you haven't joined our Patreon community yet, this is your sign to do it. Come and start learning with people like you. When you join, you will get a supportive environment where we answer all these questions together. I share a lot of these kind of little answered questions, resolved hesitations from my lessons. Actually, there is a collection called Practical Mini Lessons. And just 2 days ago, my student Federica asked me this beautiful question. What's the difference between full stop, period, point, comma, and so on? Basically the same symbol, but used in different situations and cases. This was her little hesitation point. and she asked me that question. I helped her resolve that question. We did it together, but now I'm going to share that in our community. And in fact, the post about this particular question will be released in a couple of days. So you can join and get access to that post right now. Also, our community has other collections like Gold Standard of English, where you can get access to the best speakers, native speakers that basically are our gold standard that we want to achieve. Then you also have Best Learning Tools collection and Grammar Bank and many, many more things. So check it out. I will send the link in the description. If you haven't joined, I would be very happy to see you there among our awesome members. Thank you for listening. Let me know in the comments if this topic resonated with you and if you know exactly what I'm talking about. Your hesitation is your guiding principle for more progress. Keep resolving those questions and keep getting better. I'll see you in the next episode.